During a CMT interview, which was posted to TikTok on Sunday, December 15, the 48-year-old country star shared a humiliating story from years ago involving his now 16-year-old stepson, Zuma. The mix-up. The teen, who is the youngest of Gwen Stefani's three sons, accidentally facetimed country music legend Vince Gill, while Gill, 67, was in Amsterdam with the Eagles. He thought he was calling his nanny Vince and he called Vince Gill, Shelton explained. I was walking through the house and I heard Vince Gill's voice kind of laughing and I looked and I saw Zuma throw the phone down. Confused, the God's Country singer said Zuma was like, I don't know, there was some man that answered Vince's phone. When Shelton called his friend back, the musician shared why he even picked up the random call. Man, I was laughing, Gill told the former voice coach. I thought you must have been drunk or something. Though Zuma was initially startled by the unexpected encounter, it turns out the mishap made him the ultimate superfan of the I Still Believe in You vocalist. Now, a couple of years later, Zuma is the biggest Vince Gill fan in the world, Shelton shared. He's like, can we FaceTime him again? Shelton's answer? No, never again actually, he declared. That was humiliating for me. The country music icon, who's been married to Stefani, 55, since 2021, takes his role as stepdad to her three sons seriously. In addition to Zuma, the Sweet Escape singer shares sons Kingston, 18, and Apollo, 10, with her ex-husband, Gavin Rossdale. Shelton has often spoken about how becoming a step-parent has changed his priorities. This isn't about me anymore and never will be again, the proud stepdad told People in 2022. The kids see me as a very important person in their life. I take that stuff to heart. Country star Blake Shelton is no stranger to the spotlight. Whether he's topping the country charts, sitting in the judge's chair on The Voice, or charming fans with his down-to-earth humor, Shelton seems to take everything in stride. But even the most confident stars have their humbling moments, and for Blake, one of his most humiliating experiences came at the hands of one of Gwen Stefani's sons. Recently, during an interview filled with laughter and candid storytelling, Blake opened up about an awkward but heartwarming moment that reminds us all that no one, not even country superstars, is safe from a child's brutal honesty. The conversation arose during a lighthearted chat on a popular morning talk show when Blake Shelton was asked if he's had any funny or awkward dad moments since becoming a stepdad to Gwen Stefani's three boys, Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo. Shelton didn't hesitate. With his trademark grin and a slight shake of his head, he dove straight into the story. Oh man, Blake said, leaning back in his chair. You know, I've been on stage in front of thousands of people. I've had shows where I completely forgot the lyrics to my own songs. I've been on live TV where I've said something dumb and tried to play it off. But none of that compares to being humiliated by a 7-year-old. The hosts laughed, prompting Blake to continue. It was Zuma. He got me good. Really good. Blake explained that the embarrassing moment happened during a family day at home. He and Gwen had been enjoying a quiet afternoon with the kids, which, according to Blake, is always full of unpredictable moments. We were playing basketball in the driveway, he said, setting the scene. And you have to understand something about me. I'm not the most athletic guy in the world. I grew up in Oklahoma, I fish, I hunt, and I can lift heavy things. But basketball? Let's just say it's not my strong suit. Blake chuckled as he recalled the moment. So there I am, trying to impress Zuma, who was maybe 7 or 8 at the time. He's dribbling the ball, looking like a pro, and I'm standing there like, all right, Blake, time to show these kids you've still got it. Big mistake. As Blake tried to intercept the ball, he tripped over his own feet. I swear I didn't even know what happened. One second I'm reaching for the ball and the next I'm flat on my back, arms splayed out, just staring at the sky, Blake said, imitating the scene with exaggerated movements. It was like something out of a cartoon. I think I actually saw birds circling my head. Blake admitted that while he was sprawled out on the ground, slightly dazed, it was Zuma's reaction that truly sealed his humiliation. Zuma stops dribbling the ball, walks over and stands above me. He's just looking down at me with this look of disappointment. Not concern, not even amusement, just pure disappointment, Blake laughed. And then he goes, "Wow, Blake, you're really bad at this." The audience roared with laughter as Blake shook his head. It was brutal, man. The kid didn't even sugarcoat it. He just told it like it was. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Blake went on to say that Zuma's comments stuck with him for a while. It's one thing when a critic says you're no good at something. You can brush that off. But when a kid looks you dead in the eye and says, "Wow, you're terrible," that cuts deep. Of course, no embarrassing story would be complete without Gwen Stefani's take. Blake admitted that Gwen witnessed the whole thing from the porch and couldn't stop laughing. "She's just sitting there, sipping her tea or whatever, cracking up," Blake said. "I'm lying on the ground, totally defeated, and she's like, 'You okay, babe? Need some ice?' Meanwhile, she's laughing so hard she's crying." Blake couldn't help but laugh along as he told the story. At that point, you just have to embrace it. I mean, it's humiliating, sure, but it's also hilarious. I'm just glad Gwen didn't record it because she would have posted it on Instagram. Despite the occasional humiliation, Blake Shelton has fully embraced his role as stepfather to Gwen's 3 boys. Over the years, he's spoken openly about how much he cares for Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo, often referring to them as a huge part of his life. "I didn't know what I was getting myself into at first," Blake said during the interview. "But those boys are the best thing that ever happened to me. They've taught me so much about life, patience, and not taking myself too seriously." Blake admitted that moments like the basketball incident keep him humble and grounded. "It's good for me, When you're on stage, people cheer for you no matter what. But at home, those kids don't care who I am. To them, I'm just Blake, the guy who can't shoot a basketball to save his life." In the end, Blake Shelton's humiliating moment turned out to be one of those cherished memories that he and Zuma will laugh about for years to come. "We still joke about it," Blake said with a smile. "Every now and then, Zuma will pick up a basketball, look at me, and say, 'You want a rematch?' And I'm like, 'No way, man. I've learned my lesson.'" Blake's story is a reminder that even the biggest stars have their off days, and sometimes those days make the best memories. As the interview wrapped up, Blake had one final thought. "At the end of the day, if falling on my face makes those kids smile, then it's worth it. Even if I am the world's worst basketball player." With that, the hosts erupted into laughter, and Blake Shelton proved once again why he remains one of country music's most lovable and relatable stars.